We'll go East Coast time. It's about 8:30 on the East Coast, I believe. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong.
Feel free.
That we were talking about doing this podcast at 8 o'clock.
Yes. Yes.
Earlier today. Yes.
I believe somebody else who is one of the founding members of this podcast said that they would adjust their schedule around the podcast. And
yeah, I actually have a direct quote.
You have a direct quote? Okay,
here.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Let me read this.
Go ahead.
I'll build my schedule around the pod. Kevin Kinsey.
Wow.
Otherwise known as Scout.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. That's some damning evidence right there.
It is. That sounds like a primary source. Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard not to argue that it really just speaks to his character. I mean,
yes. Questionable at best.
Questionable at best.
At best.
On at a good worst, day, I don't even want to think about what it could be at worst, you know?
Very suspect.
Yeah. It's a really unpredictable person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For someone who likes to go by the nickname Scout, he really apparently couldn't find the clock. So couldn't really scout that out.
I hope he's okay. I mean, shit, he's responding to us.
Yes.
He did say his would this be bad. Funny? At what point would this be funny if something bad happened?
Well, if something bad happens to him, we'll just delete this and it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically nothing we're saying is inaccurate.
Right, yes.
Regardless of something bad happening.
Yes, like I said, if something bad just happens, just delete this and the world will never be wiser. We'll maintain our credibility.
That's one option. It's one option.
What's the other? Throw it out there. Oh, wait a minute.
Wow.
Time.
30. I'm sorry. 20. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 29 minutes past when we said we were going to start. Wow.
29. Thank you.
Wow.
Really, very considerate of your friends there.
Yes,
at our time. And
we're happy you were able to scout it back to your house. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. You know?
Grace us.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I was thinking these guys are probably really struggling. They're probably having a very hard time without me. I need to cut in and see if I can offer them some support. Thank God I'm here, right?
Well, thank God, dude.
Yeah, I mean that counting alphabet soup was, man.
Oh yeah,
we were just waiting for that.
That's not happening. So totally forgot to set that up too.
I think the second thing.
Yeah, what a surprise! I know.
Mr. Megorium, I think that calls for some viewer mail. Make sure you bring that next week, okay?
Hold on, give me just a second. I'm going to restart the recording. We're just talking about how inconsiderate and questionable Scout's character is.
Kind of a garbage person. Yeah, garbage person.
Kind of. Yeah, we said your character is questionable at best. At the best, it's questionable. So it could be a lot worse than that, but that's the best.
I was going to say, honestly, I'll take questionable.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what would you...
Well, that's at the best. I mean, that doesn't mean that's what it is.
Questionable, like a gas station egg salad sandwich. Questionable.
Yeah, I was telling him, I wish I had the fucking sound clip from It's Always Sunny where Charlie's like, wild card! Because that's kind of what questionable means, I guess.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I like to surprise you guys every now and then, especially when I specifically say, I'll build my schedule around it.
Around it, yes.
Dude.
The ultimate prank.
We didn't know you meant the opposite of that,
I got you guys. Joke's on
my colossal metal ass.
Fuck you.
Well, yeah.
Can I give you a little tip?
Show up on time.
I ended up taking the dogs walking and went too far.
Yep.
So,
Dude, I was actually worried that when you weren't texting us back that something happened, because I remembered you telling me about your auto incident last
I
week.
was suggesting if something happened, we would just delete it and it would be like nothing ever happened.
Oh yeah, I thought we were also talking about what are we going to do with all this shit talking we just did.
Walker was going to publish that straight to YouTube. Straight to YouTube.
I just agreed with you. No. All I said was that I agreed with you that one option was to not post it. That's
Walker,
that is one option.
Walker gets put in charge of editing together like the montage for the funeral.
I'm wearing this stupid hat and this jersey.
This clip ends up in it.
Gee, I hope nothing bad happened to him. He hasn't answered in like 20 minutes. Jeez.
The last thing his friends said to him were, "You fuckface, where are you?"
I hope nothing as bad as the Charlotte Hornets franchise happened to him. Sports joke in there for you sports fans.
Explain the sports joke. I don't get it.
The Charlotte Hornets are fucking terrible. Then they've never been
apparently
good,
they're horrible.
So.
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah.
I think actually I recently saw a sports page I follow posted of all the major sports, the win percentages for the worst teams, the worst ones, and the Charlotte Hornets were like in the top 10 worst win percentages of all time across all sports that they had.
Were the Pittsburgh Pirates also in there?
They might have been. Yeah, that would not be surprising to me. Yeah.
They're really bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're really good too.
Sometimes.
Depends on the decade.
Time.
Not in a long
Just
time.
like the Hornets.
Did Michael Jordan ever play for the Hornets?
No, but he owns the Hornets.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the owner of the team.
He's affiliated.
Yep, he is. He grew up in He's from North Carolina, and he owns the team. That's kind of his. Yeah.
Where's he from?
Wilmington, I think.
Oh, cool.
Pretty sure. Yeah, like the coastal area.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, this jersey is an only wear in the house thing. I cannot wear this in public.
Really?
I'll show you why. I'll turn it around. So you see this? It's probably backwards, but it says Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this jersey about 3 years ago. This is a player. He was a good player. I liked him. Dude had some insane domestic abuse charges come out against him, and got kicked off the team, basically out of the league. So,
shit!
Yeah, it's like I can't wear this jersey out in public anymore. But I'm not going to get rid of it, so I guess I'll just wear it around the house.
It just sits right next to the R. Kelly CDs.
Oh God, what else would be in there? My promotional items from Subway, Jared.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Your boarding pass on the Lolita Express. That was the plane that took people to Epstein Island.
My Weinstein Productions film collection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Signed Weinstein script. Best of luck in the future.
Oh yeah. I don't know where we were at when we went off on that sports tangent there. I cannot remember.
I don't know.
We were ragging on me, I think.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm pretty sure the sports thing was the diversion
Fuck
from
you,
that.
Scout. Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Anyways.
Bite my colossal metal ass!
I believe that's exactly where we were, actually.
Yeah, okay, good. Fuck you. All right, next segment. I got
He
a couple
just has
things.
a fuck Scout intro.
I can do that sometime.
That might call for its own theme song. Fuck Scout. Yeah, but that needs a theme song.
I do have a new segment. I figured it'd be fun to do, but if we had some time, but I think we could do it. Why not?
What if this whole thing was an elaborate reveal plan for that segment? Getting Scout to be late, the whole thing, and then it just all led to this.
We're not, Chris.
Totally
we're not
was.
that smart.
Totally
we are not that fucking smart. We can't plan that well.
Definitely was, Chris.
I really wish it was. Actually, In a way, you could
What?
tie Scout being late to this segment, and actually, you could definitely tie it to the segment.
I'm intrigued. Go on.
All right, I'll just get into it, I guess. You agree with Larry David? I have a clip pulled up actually from Curb of an instance of whatever he did. We have to decide. But also, is your friend being 30 minutes late? Your friend being 30 minutes late to a podcast that they said they would be on time for is definitely something that Larry David would say something about.
Yeah. It is inconsiderate. I apologize for not valuing your time as much as I valued my dog's time.
And you know what Larry David, I think, would say? He would actually say that was a very sincere apology and that he appreciates you acknowledging your disrespect to society.
I wronged him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got a clip we can analyze here. I want to hear our thoughts on this,
Larry David.
Huh?
That's great.
Never had a wing before.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's your night to shine.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
So he's now...
What is that?
People listening audio. Larry David's in like a fundraiser, and he looked at where he's donated a bunch of money to this cause, so they have donated a wing of the building to him. And then he looks over to this other wall, and somebody else has donated money, but it says anonymous.
Donated by anonymous.
Yeah.
Anonymous?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that. Now it looks like I did mine for the credit. It's probably to, Mr. Wonderful Anonymous.
I know who it is. It's Ted. Ted is...
What, are you kidding?
No. Isn't that great? I donated the whole wing. Didn't want anybody to know.
All right.
Well,
what are you guys' initial reaction to that is? Before we hear Larry complain about it, somebody anonymously donating, but still telling their friends about, oh, I'm anonymous. Do you think that says something about their character?
It could. But
I think it would depend on the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Can you think of any specific anecdotal evidence or I don't know examples?
An actual example. It's tough to think of, but if you were, also this is if you were wealthy, which I am not. I do not have the money to donate wings of hospitals.
Right.
But I guess if I donated something and then somebody was talking to me about taxes or something, I might bring up, oh, I've donated something before, and blah blah blah. You can write it off, or what if you are talking about the business of it.
Do you need to tell your friends about that, or can't you just tell that to the IRS and stuff?
I'm saying if I'm giving advice or something, or if I can help somebody navigate. Oh, you donated something? Hey, I actually also dealt with that on taxes. I'm donating blood plasma, for instance. If somebody's like, oh yeah, I don't know how to deal with that on taxes. Oh yeah, I did donate blood plasma for a while. Let me tell you about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
I will say,
continue. I'm also, just for the record, I'm going to stop this occasionally. Just to
sure.
We're not playing a clip straight through, and I don't get fucking the video taken off YouTube.
Right.
As long as we're reacting and commenting on it.
I also will say,
we can.
I definitely think there's only 5% of cases where it is appropriate. Most of the time, if you donate something anonymously, you should shut the fuck up about it.
Yes.
Well, let's see how this plays out. Yeah. So Larry's just found out
they want it to be anonymous.
Yeah, Larry's wife has just told him that Ted Danson is anonymous.
Oh, isn't that great? I donated the whole wing. Didn't want anybody to know.
Well, he told you, so he apparently wanted somebody to know.
He told me, okay?
Who else did he tell? How do you know he just told you?
No. The point is that he didn't need all the fanfare and didn't need
Fanfare? What fanfare? I don't like the fanfare. You saying I like fanfare?
You can tell a few people. He just doesn't need the whole world to know that he donated all this money.
You know what? I didn't need the world to know either. Nobody told me that I could be anonymous and tell people. I would have taken that option, okay? You can't have it halfway. You're either anonymous or you're not. What is it?
Look, people are pointing out and go, there's Larry David.
Oh, yeah, there's Larry David, the guy who has to have his name up on the wall, as opposed to Mr. Anonymous. Fuck was really Ted.
I'm proud of you.
Anonymous. It's fake philanthropy, and it's faux anonymity. What do you think about that?
I mean, do you agree with him that he says it's an either or? You're either anonymous or you're not. I guess you were saying you do not necessarily agree with that, right? Or you could see situations where it's not either or.
I think intention is what matters. That being said, generally speaking, if you bring up that you are an anonymous donator, I would say your intention is bad. I would say you are a bad actor.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
+% of the time.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say, especially, when you're donating to a good cause. It's hard to say like, oh, you're ill intent. There's ill intent behind this. But if you're doing it anonymously and then telling people you did it anonymously, it's like you're basically like, hey, it's like a really weird way to try to get attention from people.
Yes.
Yes.
That to me. Yeah.
That being said, I was actually talking with some friends kind of corollarily about this. We were talking about the Ukraine war, and somebody was like, I don't know if I really am stoked about people like saying they support Ukraine or whatever and then not actually doing anything to support. Like all they're doing is saying it. And I kind of countered with, I think in some cases just highlighting the issue and keeping it present in people's minds is actually important. Like it's a ground war over there and it's a war of attrition at this point in a lot of ways. And like having American funding and the American public support does matter a lot for them. And so literally just like talking about on this podcast is like in some small way helpful to support that effort, I would suggest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point. And I'm thinking about this scenario that we're watching here and thinking, would it actually be better for that cause overall if Ted Danson puts his name there instead of anonymous? Because not only
certainly
does he get that recognition, which whatever, you donated the money, but then there's probably press stories and more people hear about it because his name is attached to it. But if it's anonymous, then, you don't get that celebrity factor of marketing added into it, to the cause.
People attached to his brand also will be drawn to it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
A fan
if he's
of Ted
anonymous,
Danson,
then he doesn't... Nobody knows, yeah. Except for the people that he tells, apparently.
Right. Which almost certainly is just to boost his ego at that point. If it is between you and one other person, I mean, you really are only doing it to boost your ego. You're not supporting the cause in any way. I guess you could be like saying like, hey, you should also donate a wing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this next part, he's going to actually talk to Ted about the situation. And maybe the lady who owns the or charity or whatever.
I want to go talk to Senator Boxer.
Senator.
Right. Look at this. Oh. Anonymous. You really... I know. I didn't say... Larry, did you know this anonymous is Ted?
Yeah.
Just can't... The point I want to make is you didn't need to do this.
Well, that's true.
He did.
That's why I kept this. That's why I kept.
That's true. He didn't.
Well, because I think it's the exhibit. It's the issue.
And you're so passionate about this. Too many people don't do things out of the goodness of they want the credit. You are number one in my book, Ted Danson. Senator, please don't forget. I've got to run. Bye, Larry. Bye, Ted.
That's so sweet.
See you later.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
What is this bullshit? Anonymous. Give me a break. Anonymous. If you're anonymous, how come people know?
This is why Larry David's great. He has any kind of issue with anything, he's immediately going to say something about it to that person.
Escalates it to 11.
Immediately, he will say something. He has no shame about it.
told maybe one or two people, friends, that I didn't think I wanted to have a secret.
Oh, really?
Actually, can you play it back about 10 or 15 seconds?
Yeah.
I want to point something out. And I know this is just the way they have to make the show flow.
I'll start it right after the senator left.
Yes,
and
perfect.
They're talking with each other, yeah.
I didn't expect that.
What is this bullshit? Anonymous. Give me a break, Anonymous. If you're anonymous, how come people know about it?
I told maybe one or two people, friends, that I didn't think I wanted to have a secret.
Oh, really? I have a feeling everybody in this room knows.
Can I have your attention, everybody? We're going to start the ceremony, and Senator Barbara Boxer would like to say a few words.
Thank you so much. This is a night to thank two very special people. So one is Larry David. Larry David. We are very thrilled with his contribution. And the other is Anonymous.
I love the
clearly, as
clapping.
you could hear there, yeah, the anonymous quote, I'm air quotes here, got a bigger round of applause from the crowd at the event. Yeah, I mean, as he often does, Larry has a point, you know.
Yeah, how much do you guys agree with him?
I agree with him. I think where he's coming, this is where I think he's coming from. Larry just wants to live in a society. The society Larry wants to live in has a very specific set of, like, you know, this is the way society expects things to be. This is the way we're going to do them. Like this, you know, whatever. And I think that something like that, somebody saying I'm anonymous, but like not really being anonymous, he doesn't want to associate with people like that. And that's why he calls those things out. So I would agree. I think it would be, I would definitely like, I don't know if I question my friendship. It would, you know, there'd be a lot of other factors, but like, I would definitely like look at that example of like if somebody was donating anonymously and then bragging to me that they had done that, like,
yeah,
that would be kind of weird to me. Like I was saying, it's a weird way to try to get attention from people.
Agreed.
Here's a question for you. Can you do anything for another person genuinely out of goodness, or are you in some way trying to make yourself feel better about being a good person? Can people do good things selflessly?
I would say those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, being a good person should make you feel good.
Yeah. Well, I would say...
I mean, is it truly selfless, though? If you're making yourself feel good,
well, here's
the
thing. Like, if you make yourself feel good because you know you're a good person, that's one thing. If you're making yourself feel good by seeking the adulation of others because of what you did, then that's not quite the same thing.
I mean, what is different, though?
If I do something for you, but I don't tell the world I did it for you.
Practically different. Yeah, what if Ted Danson never did say that he was anonymous? Like, is he selfless then? Or is he's still...
He's not seeking... Yeah, he's not seeking...
I would say, yeah, definitely, yeah.
He's totally selfless then?
Because he's not seeking any recognition. He's truly anonymous.
Yes, but I guess in one way...
He's not doing it to feel good about it?
Right. I guess in one... Like, any good act, you can argue, like, at the very base, like, level, you probably are like, I want to make the world a better place, or my town a better place, or whatever. So, like, that might be the root feeling behind it, which isn't, I guess, are you arguing, is that a selfless thing? Like, if that's
what I'm
behind
saying.
it?
I guess
like,
the question is, does that negate the selflessness? If everything can be tied back to, like, an innate desire, like, I want to change things, I want to do this so it's better, like, isn't that making kind of a judgment call that is inherently not selfless?
Yeah, I definitely see logically that how that argument makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not like looking down this hill.
I think this is awesome that our first "Do you agree with Larry David" segment has dived so complex, turned into such a complex conversation.
Such an ethical quandary.
I really think, I think that the ridiculous things that he complains about can make you think about these complex, like, ways of our world, and, like, you know. what's right, what's wrong, you know, shit like that.
Well, and here's another thing. Say you are honest about something. Like, say like you're out with a friend or something, and a homeless person asks for like a couple bucks, and you give it to them because you want to be seen as a good person to your friend. And then as you're walking away, your friend is like, wow, that was so kind of you. And you say, nah, honestly, it wasn't really. I was just trying to, like, curry your favor. I just gave that homeless person that money to make you think well of me.
Dang, I might respect the hell out of that if somebody actually said that. But at the same time, I might also be like, maybe they recognize that and they're actually saying that to make themselves look better in a weird, like, multi-leveled way around this whole situation.
I will say we can spin it on infinitely, but let's just say that is genuine. Let's say they do say, like, you, for whatever reason, you just know it is genuine. Does that telling the truth then about, like, no, it wasn't selfless? Does that then make it a selfless action? Like, yeah, okay, I did abuse that. So I think about this a lot with YouTube videos where they, like, somebody gives somebody $1,000 when they offer to give them free food because they're broke or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that can't be ethically good. That's not ethically good, right? That's very bad in the long run for people, isn't it? Even though it is giving somebody $1,000, like, for their struggling business, that's not the right way to do it, right?
That's an interesting look. At that point, you're kind of talking about the whole, like, charity porn segment of the internet that, like, you know, makes content like, look how good of a person I am. I'm giving all this money away or these things away to people or doing these nice things. And, like, I always think it's weird when people attack stuff like that because, like, you know, then basically the attacks I often see, it's like they're attacking society as a whole and the way the whole system works as to why this person doing this was, you know, maybe not the best thing. And I'm like, dude, this is one person. They're not going to change the whole fucking society, like all of how society runs. Right. Them doing this charitable act, giving away money and filming it, like, yeah, okay, maybe you could see that as a little weird, but in the end, I'm for it. Like, with all the negative stuff on the online, like, who cares?
Here's what I would pitch. Of all the, I would say it is ethically wrong. I would say the motivations behind it are wrong. But of all the wrong things you could do with, like, genociding entire populations being real low on the list of things, and, like, maybe
that's
taking
low
a piece
on the list of. Did you just say genocide is low on the list of wrong things?
Low being.
I think he means high.
Low ranked.
Okay.
If it's a list of good things, high is good. High is good. Yeah. Sorry.
I was concerned there for a second, too.
That was very weird.
Yeah.
Genocide's super chill, guys. Don't you think?
I'm going to clip that later for my blackmail folder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm giving you a good one. This is going to make a great clip show someday.
Dude, we should we should do a blackmail folder against each other sometime from previous episodes, and then we'll come to an episode together, and we'll fucking be like, can you believe that you said this? And fucking, like, play clips to each other of shit that we said.
Make, like, soundboards, clip horrible things.
Eventually our podcast will turn into us reacting to ourselves. It's an infinite cycle.
Dude, I'm down to do that. That would be a cool segment. I think we'd do well with it.
But back to what you were saying. It's interesting to me that you say that it's inherently wrong for somebody to, like, do a charitable act and film it. That's what you were saying, right? Well, because that's inherently wrong.
I would say their motivation is wrong. Because this is also objectively, it is better. It is measurably improving the world.
I could definitely agree that certain individuals, their motivation is, like, not the best intent. But, like, I could definitely see situations where somebody is. There are certain people, I bet, that, like, are not necessarily thinking or intentionally doing it. Like, it might just be a side effect that they get all this fame and, like, attention. And, like, a common argument they make is, like, the more money I get, the more good I can do. So
Yeah.
it's,
the righteous gemstones. The righteous gemstones.
Yeah. There's definitely an argument to that at a certain point of wealth, like, you know, you doing a little bit of percentage of your good sounds like a big deal, but really is it as big a deal as it sounds?
Dude, okay, to honestly step it out, take it to the full max, let's make the argument that maybe somebody having a large amount of money can actually do good. Say they do create a business. Like, say, okay, I have $10 million. I could just distribute it to people. And so what would that be? 1,000 families get $100,000 or something? No. 1,000 get 10,000, right?
That would be 10. If you you said 1 million, 10 families.
10 million. 10 million. 10
then it would be 100, yeah.
Yeah. 100 families. So let's say 10,000 to 1,000 families. Okay? Now, say I take that 10 million and found a company or am able to grow that company into a company that can provide 5,000 families with jobs, way better than $10,000. And, like, say it's a good business. Like, some people would say, like, fucking working for Google is awesome. Like, hey, we love it. They fund our whole lifestyle.
I hear you. But do you realize that this is their business? They're doing that, but their business is just giving shit away. That is the business. That is what brings in money, and then they do more of that. That is the business. Like, they don't, and they do employ people that way, and they do have, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but their business funds.
I think they are doing what you're saying, kind of.
But their business funds the person they're giving the money to and themselves. A billionaire's,
people that work
a 10
for them,
millionaire's
it's not
business.
Just them. Like, they have teams of people that work for them. Like, they like I said, it's a business. They have you know, video people, editing people, fucking all kinds of shit.
We could say it's comparable to Mr. Beast, though. Would you say Mr. Beast's like production team, the team that he employs, is that the same as like 500-person business or whatever? You know.
Maybe. He's pretty fucking big at this point. I have no idea how many people he employs. He might actually employ that many people. Like,
oh, okay.
I don't know.
I guess is there a crossover factor though that it like?
I see what you're saying. Like,
yeah,
I see your argument. I think I'm just saying like they are doing a business. It's just not necessarily like a typical business you would think of in a community. Like, it's new. It's a fucking new part of society.
Their business is exploiting the downtrodden.
Anyways, this went way past the original clip, which is typically what happens with Larry David. Things go way fucking past what was meant. So
we get to discuss deep philosophical questions.
How do you think that first segment of I guess we have to answer the question. Do you agree with Larry David?
No.
You're going to say no? You're going to lean no?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. I agree with him.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
I think there are edge cases. I want to. My heart wants to, but I can't.
So you're looking at more of like I need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt before, because there is doubt there, you can't say yes. That's
right.
What
I'm going to err on the side of caution when it comes to agreeing with Larry. I think Larry sets some
it'll be good for
traps.
The bit because he clearly knows what people. A lot of these are probably going to be things we all fucking agree with.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the show. That's the show.
But he does sometimes do some shit. You're like, I don't know about that one, dude. Like, but anyways, nice. I thought that segment
pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Very well done. Bravo.
Did either of you have anything?
No.
I know you mentioned earlier the suit thing.
I don't have a hernia.
Oh, cool. I didn't know you might have a hernia.
Dude, so I've been going to physical therapy. So my doctor says I have a 2x4 for an ass. She says, that boy's ass looks like Nebraska, it's so flat.
Wow.
She doesn't actually say that. But basically, because I fucked up
be
my
very
hip,
medically professional.
Yeah, that's not the technical
Bite
terminology.
my colossal metal ass!
It's technically called Kansas ass.
Getting a lot of use out of that one today. I just added that.
Dude, that's a favorite. I'm a big fan of Bender, personally.
I have one other Bender one I added.
Can you throw on "Get the Hell Off of My Planet" as well at some point?
Yeah, just text it to me.
I would love that.
I want to add more shit to this soundboard, so if you guys think of any clips, definitely text me.
Will do.
Shit. I'll find it immediately and add it. Anyways, continue.
So I fucked up my hip, so I've learned really bad ways of like holding my posture and walking and stuff. And so now all of a sudden I'm learning how to use muscles that are pretty weak and I don't really use much. And so I strained one, which is just like a normal strain, but it like hurt in a very weird way.
Hold on. Just pause. So the doctor told you got a flat ass.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
So
Why?
Because I don't have like gluteal muscles and stuff. I don't have.
Okay, and then what is that? What has that done to you?
So I just have learned to use my core muscles differently than is best.
So you're more using your core more than you should, maybe.
She was like, you have like your like 6-pack abs are holding together everything and are like like always super tense. And like the rest of your abdominal muscles are not able to do the job.
This that you went to for this?
A physical therapist.
Okay, gotcha.
She's like She like focuses on climbing and outdoors.
I thought you were going for a shoulder injury or something.
No, hip.
Was it a leg injury? It was a hip. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Just misthought.
Yeah, it's a torn labrum, which there is also a labrum in the shoulder too. But basically, I've learned to walk wrong, and so I've like underdeveloped.
Like always,
probably most of my life, but definitely since fucking up my hip when I started Seuss.
Dang, that's wild.
So basically, I'm like having to learn how to use different abdominal muscles and shit. And so I strained one working out, and it hurt, and I was freaking the fuck out for several days.
You strained an abdominal muscle?
Yeah.
Which one? Where is it? You don't have to name it. Where is it?
It's in the abdomen.
You can't say like side or lower or like.
It's like kind of near the groin. It's like
low down, like
here,
near the like where the V cut for like
right down there.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
We might have this video might get taken off YouTube because it
might get flagged because I'm getting extra.
Also, I'm gonna add that to my blackmail folder.
me rubbing.
Mark the clip.
Yeah,
Mark
you're doing a rubbing
Yeah.
motion on your fucking leg.
Oh man. But yeah, it's not a hernia. It's just a tear, and I can keep getting better.
What is? I actually don't know what a hernia technically is compared to a tear. Is that when the muscles like pinched in between?
No,
something?
it's when you have a tear
tears and your stuff inside comes out.
Comes out, yeah. Like imagine you have a bag that has a hole in it, and things are coming out of the bag, except it's the stuff that's not supposed to come out of the bag.
It's like your guts,
and you can get those pretty much anywhere you have muscles.
No.
Technically,
mostly your abdomen is where you like. For men, it's like, or for not really men, but for adults, it's groin area from lifting something too heavy. Is a typical, right?
But you can also get like herniated discs. So I think herniation is like the act of getting squished out.
Right. In that case, it's like bulged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, my dogs are barking like crazy because they know it's time for dinner. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Feed us now.
Talk about whatever. Talk shit about me if you want.
So, what the hell is the Mr. Megorian thing? Like, you getting the reference there? Am I missing
I actually was going to ask that. I'm sure he did. You guys did talk about that.
No, we did not. We were too busy trashing you. You're too busy trashing you.
Maybe that's you trashed me for a half hour. Holy shit!
No, it was a good 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so I actually got here kind of early in the episode then, huh?
Yeah, when I said we should get busy and trash him, like 5 minutes after that we started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. Megorium. So maybe he and Dina have like, that's how they have like sex play on Zoom or something.
Wow.
That's my guess. He's
kink,
like Mr.
maybe?
Megorium and she's the Wonder Emporium or some shit. I don't know.
He wears the hat and the jersey. It's like the outfit.
Yeah, dude, he definitely wears the jersey. What else would Mr. Megorium be? Maybe he's like trying to pick up kids in a chat room.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
He's back.
about me?
He's back. Nothing.
What?
Nothing. We say you're such a great guy.
What is Mr. Megorium? What is Mr. Megorium from?
We're taking bets on if this is like a kink
Wow.
thing.
Our guesses are
It's the
you're
kink.
trying to pick up kids online, or it's your and Dina's like fetish play
Kink.
on Zoom.
With the hat and the jersey is part of the whole
hat and the
like,
jersey.
outfit. Yeah.
Probably nothing
No.
else.
So people that are watching, I don't think that shows up for people that are watching. I don't know if it does, but yeah, I wrote my name as. I don't know if it does. Maybe it does. I wrote my name in the meeting as Mr. Megorium. So some of the listeners are probably screaming this because they already know. There was a movie in the mid 2000s called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, and I always just thought that. Yeah, I always just thought that was the funniest sounding movie title, like one of the funniest sounding movie titles. That was fun to say. So I just was like, I'm going to be Mr. Megorium tonight from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Classic.
Not by no means a staple of cinematic history, but it was a film that happened at one point.
It's not one of the greats.
Here, actually, let me pull up a poster because
I've actually heard a lot of people rave about that movie. Hey, I gotta check my dogs real quick.
Hey, let me check my dogs real quick. I don't have any dogs.
Quote, I'll build my schedule around the pod.
Quote.
Kinsey. Yeah. That was, oh wow, he typed that on March 7th. That's today. That's wild. Here, I got a picture of Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. The movie poster.
Okay, sorry.
Boom. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
It's like a pretty trippy movie, isn't it?
It's like a guy who owns like a toy store that like literally the toys are magic and shit.
Okay, so Willy Wonka but with toys.
Kinda, yeah. Let's see. Natalie Portman, Dustin Hoffman, Jason Bateman, all-star cast.
Wow, yeah, what a cast.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
But that's just a random movie that sometimes I think of the title and it makes me laugh. It's like
Cool.
Yep. Somebody in at one time somebody in the Reddit, one of my most liked Reddit posts or comments of all time was I'm in the Reddit like box office group, like they talk about like movie box office, like how much money movies made and shit or are making. Yeah, and somebody was posting about like what do they think the next $1 billion movie is going to be. And my post was Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium 20th anniversary re-release easily cracks $1 billion. One of my most liked Reddit posts ever. So,
how many likes is it? 12.
Oh, I don't even. A couple hundred, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder what the most liked Reddit post of all time is.
Dude,
probably
what
like
was
69.
that really funny one recently that was like a really funny way to put a dick joke? And it was the guy talking about how do you get a whatever diameter cylinder outside of a bigger cylinder. I'm butchering it, but it's like a short post about getting one cylinder stuck from another, and basically everyone realized, oh, this guy got his dick stuck in a Pringles can. I remember he got so many like Reddit awards and shit given to him. He had to like, somebody asked him like, dude, you got to tell us how much like rewards you got. And he's like, I have Reddit Premium until 2080 or some shit. Like, hilarious.
That's awesome. Oh man,
I gotta find that because it's not a long post, but it's so funny.
Well, just the questions and responses are great. Somebody's like, wait, how did this get into the can? And he's like, don't worry about that. It just is. Well, can you apply lubricant? Enough lubricant has been applied. Lubricant isn't helping anymore. Well, can you drill a hole in it? Using a drill is not advised near the cylinder inside.
Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so he posted it on Ask Reddit, which is one of the biggest Reddit groups. Oh, it got removed.
Oh,
right, it still has the main title from the post. So it says, "How would you get a small cylinder?" And then in like brackets, 5.1 inch length, comma, estimated about 4.5 inch girth, and close the brackets. Unstuck from a mini M&M's tube filled with butter and a microwave mashed banana. Those were a mini M&M's tube, actually. 38,000 likes on Reddit.
Wow. That's awesome.
For that post.
Oh, dude, the questions and answers are fucking hilarious.
Top comment. That's no small cylinder. It sounds like a perfectly adequate cylinder to me. Average size, you might say. This is the best post I've seen in a long, long time. I'm assuming the wit of OP's response is that this is a joke and a very clever one. On the off chance that it isn't, please get to the ER right away.
Oh my god. Oh man. So funny.
That guy probably can't even use that Reddit account normally anymore because I bet every time there's probably people following his profile that literally will comment about that fucking shit anytime he does anything.
Yep.
Oh, almost certainly.
What a weird level of fame to get. Anonymous Reddit. Back to anonymous Reddit fame. That's one of the beautiful things about Reddit, right? Is the anonymity.
Anonymity, yep.
It's kind of what's nice about it compared to a lot of the other social media platforms, I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, I got a wilderness tale if you guys want to hear it, unless you guys have other shit you wanted to talk about.
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
All right. I'm not going to play the segment intro. I'm just going to write it and then fucking put it in right where I wrote it. Now! In the wilderness, people are faced with two options: facing death or surviving to tell the tale. These are their stories. All right, so tonight we're going to be hearing the story. Have you guys ever heard of Jerry Freeman? I doubt you have.
Nope.
I'd be surprised if you had. So this is actually kind of a weird wilderness tale. So you guys have heard of Area 51 before, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, everyone, for the few of you who may not have, Area 51 is a military base based outside in Nevada, outside of Las Vegas, that covers a huge chunk of the Nevada desert. And there's been quite a few reports and, mystery surrounding the whole base and its history, and a lot of, UFO conspiracies. That's one of the main headquarters that people, talk about in the UFO community is, shit that goes on in Area 51. A lot of people believe that there are alien spacecraft in there that they're analyzing and, stuff like that. So he actually contacted the Las Vegas newspaper before he went in to, kind of as a third party to tell his story. A lot of times people do this to verify that it actually happened. So he was in contact with reporters while he was doing this and stuff. And they can verify that this happened through pictures and stuff. But cool. He wrote an article for the Las Vegas Sun, which is the main paper here. So... As the full moon rose on an April night, Jerry Freeman picked up his backpack and headed into a desolate and forbidding landscape. Driven by an obsession about an episode in American pioneer history and the stubbornness of the Air Force, the 55-year-old archaeologist and adventurer began an unauthorized 7-day, 100-mile trek through the Nevada test site into highly restricted Air Force property called Area 51. His objective, to find an inscription made in 1849 by a member of a lost and desperate wagon train that gave Death Valley its name. Also, Freeman wanted to see Papoose Dry Lake, which is the last place where this group of would-be gold diggers camped together before splintering off. His problem was that the dry lake in the canyon that is thought to contain the inscription are deep inside one of the nation's most restricted military bases. Freeman's subsequent adventure, described in his own words in a 5-part serial that begins today in the Sun, took him through a surreal landscape that included eerie installations, ominous warning signs, a large ship stranded in the desert, and seemingly endless miles of rock and scrub brush. The trek also put him through several heart-stopping close encounters with security, a nerve-wracking moonlight tiptoe across a test site, potential crater area, an interview with a surly rattlesnake, and a desperate, dry-mouthed, all-night forced march in search of water. For his troubles, Freeman got a good sunburn and a look at Papoose Dry Lake and Nye Canyon, and the discovery of an ox shoe likely left behind by the wagon train. But he did not find the inscription. By the time Freeman got to Nye Canyon, where the etching is believed to be located, he was almost out of water, and he only had 1 day to search. Freeman knew before he started that the odds were against success and that he stood a good chance of being arrested, but the lure of finding that inscription and seeing the route was too strong. "The siren song is deafening," he said in an interview with the Las Vegas Sun on the afternoon before he set out. "I would be the only individual to see all 7 inscriptions from this wagon train. I've seen so much of their trail. I've seen everywhere they went except for this stretch right here. I am smitten by the forbidden fruit." Late last year, Freeman led a group of 5 on a 32-day, 330-mile trek that followed the exact route followed by these so-called 49ers. Those impatient pioneers in November 1849 turned off the well-traveled Spanish Trail near what is now Enterprise, Utah. Do you know where that is, Scout?
No, I don't think so.
No? I have no idea where it is. And they headed southwest in hopes of finding a shortcut to the California gold fields. Instead, their unfortunate decision brought them 7 weeks of misery, 4 deaths, and the dubious honor of naming Death Valley. Freeman's group had the advantage of modern equipment, knowledge of water supplies, and a supply truck. But unlike the Lost 49ers, Freeman had to deal with the Air Force. The proposed trek was well received by the National Park Service and the Bureau of Land Management. In addition, Freeman got the Nevada Department of Energy to agree to supervise visits to areas of the test site that could have been on the Lost 49ers route. The Air Force, however, ignored all of his efforts and his supporters to gain access to the military base. There are 7 inscriptions mentioned in the journals of the Lost 49ers, and in early last November trek, Freeman discovered the previously unknown location for one of them. The team also found an encampment containing artifacts that were likely left by the unfortunate pioneers.
So he did find one?
So basically what they're saying is he's been following the journey that these people took west, and he was able to follow all of their encampment and inscriptions they had made along the way, and on
except
rocks
for this
or whatever.
stretch.
Yeah, except for this one segment that was in Area 51, which he believes is where they got lost and ended up dying.
Right.
After the group trek ended in December, the last inscription and the Air Force not replying kept eating at Freeman. When you start a project, you hope to bring it to a conclusion, Freeman said. If it leaves gaps, you don't feel fulfilled. Besides, he said, the Air Force treated me and my entire crew with disdain. This is part of our American heritage, and I believe that I have a right to see it, he said. Freeman came to the Las Vegas Sun because he wanted a neutral party that he trusted to know when and why he was going in. I'm no Rambo, he said before his journey. I have no death wish here. I'm a middle-of-the-road American guy. I'm not one who protests. I pay my taxes, and I've never been arrested. I want the Air Force to know there's nothing sinister about what I'm doing. I'm not interested in the military or technology. I'm interested purely in the history and culture of that site and this artifact. I'm an archaeologist. That's it. Freeman was apprehensive about tales of people venturing into Area 51 to be never seen again. He would take his cell phone with him to call in and leave coded messages with his condition and his whereabouts. If he saw that he was about to be arrested, he would call immediately to make sure that somebody outside knew what was happening. Yeah, it's kind of scary to think, you get caught in Area 51, it's such a secret place, if somebody outside doesn't know that you're there and what's going on, you could literally disappear forever. As he left the office, Freeman still wasn't sure if he would attempt the trek. My wife is totally against this, he said. Any prudent individual would tell me not to do it. But, he admitted, his sense of adventure pulled him towards it. Nobody's been in that canyon and looked in it for over 50 years, and I could find that inscription. I mean, that is really enticing.
That is cool, yeah.
As an archaeologist, especially, I'm sure. As an experienced backwoodsman, he traveled light, carrying no sleeping bag or tent, and relying solely on his clothes and an emergency blanket. Although he had planned to call every day, he only left 2 messages during his trip in, and there was nothing after that.
Man.
On Monday, April 28th, Freeman's wife, Donna, said her husband wasn't home yet, and his brother, Doyle Freeman, had said Jerry was running a day behind. I finally made contact with Jerry Freeman the following day. Freeman related highlights of his trek, many of which he called heart-stopping. It was high adventure, he said. I'm just lucky to be alive. Because he hadn't found the inscription, Freeman wasn't sure that he actually wanted to go public with this story. He wasn't sure it was worth the legal risk. It was agreed to hold on any story until he told us that he was ready. 2 months later, after consultations with friends and families, he was ready. He wanted to go public and to bring recognition to those lost 49ers, particularly the 4 pioneer women, the unsung heroines who were on that wagon train. Since his group trek last year, Freeman said he sent story proposals about the lost 49ers to dozens of magazines, but sparked no interest. I feel we have shortchanged historically that particular group of pioneers, he said. They suffered through the Great Basin as nobody else had before. Now it's occupied by government agencies that don't even care. They don't care about inscriptions or these pioneers. Freeman recognized there would be more interest in this story now that it revolves around Area 51. If that works, he said, that's a good thing. Whether Freeman crossed into the Air Force's fabled Area 51 is questionable. Although the Air Force recently acknowledged it has a facility in Groom Dry Lake, it refuses to comment any further on the base, much less to define the boundaries. But Area 51 buffs from studying government maps have a pretty clear idea of where it's located. According to Glenn Campbell, the reigning civilian expert on secret base and UFO phenomena, the Area 51 is a 60 square mile tract that encompasses most of Groom Dry Lake. The base is snuggled up against the northeast edges of a mountain which stands between Groom and Papoose Dry Lakes, which is where Freeman was headed. In his account and in subsequent interviews, Freeman talked of climbing a ridge above Nye Canyon and looking down upon Papoose Dry Lake, which is just south of the mountain. Many UFO buffs, Freeman is not one of them, believe that a secret hangar containing captured alien spacecraft lies beneath Papoose Lake. During the day, I couldn't see anything, Freeman said of his views of Papoose, but at night, it was a different story. Freeman saw tons of lights. One appeared to be a security vehicle that was moving around. Another, however, was stationary and appeared to get larger and smaller, as would a hangar door when it opened and closed. But that's purely conjecture on my part. From that distance, I really couldn't tell what it was. Freeman thought he was looking into Area 51, but Campbell, who has written a book about the base, said the archaeologist was still about 10 to 15 miles south of the base, which was hidden from his line of sight by a mountain. Freeman, however, counters that Campbell is working from old maps and does not know what the Air Force considers to be the exact boundaries of the super-secret base. In any case, Freeman said that he wasn't there to see Groom Lake or Area 51. The 49ers were never at Groom Lake, he said. They were at Papoose. Freeman still hopes the Air Force will allow some historian, and he realizes that he'll likely be blackballed, to go into Nye Canyon and document this last inscription someday. I don't think the general public should be allowed to go in there when they want to, Freeman said, but for a legitimate educational purpose, I think we should be allowed to document it. I don't see how it would endanger national security to do that. We do live in a time of relative peace. We're not at war, and I think the Air Force needs to lighten up. Freeman also hopes to rekindle interest in pioneer history. So much of our history has lost its relevance to our young people, he said. They have no conception what these pioneers went through. Perhaps me going in there will spark their interest once again. And that is the story of Jerry Freeman.
Interesting.
Venturing solo into Area 51 to go try to find this inscription from these pioneers that people have never been able to find.
Really cool.
I found that a really interesting story, just because, like, you know, it's the only Area 51 related story I've ever heard that really doesn't have anything to do with the military or aliens. Like, his intent was totally separate from those two things.
Oh yeah,
like, right.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting, like, wilderness tale, because, you know, he ventured out into the Nevada wilderness, and he also, like, kind of, it's an especially weird wilderness in the sense that we don't even know what's there because it's a military base. Like, there's so much secrecy surrounding it. Kind of makes it, like, super wilderness. Like,
yeah.
extra wilderness.
Yeah.
Where you're being hunted. The most dangerous game.
Good short story.
That is a cool story.
So yeah, that's the wilderness tale of Jerry Freeman entering Area 51. Would you guys ever do some shit like that? Could you ever see yourself, like, maybe breaching trespassing boundaries to, like, search for information in search of, like, something you've been wanting to know about?
Yeah, but probably not military.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons
I would,
of
like,
different, yeah.
There are, like, buildings I would break into for sure. Yeah, I'd definitely break into buildings.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked to me
shit.
about, you think
yeah,
it'd be
I'll
fun
definitely
to try to
break
learn
into
how to
buildings
hack
because I'm
stuff.
curious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I allegedly would do that.
Allegedly. you guys have either you guys got anything you wanted to chat about this week?
No, just my nut hernia.
That's it's good news. That's our good news segment of the week.
Yep. That, and I wanted to set you guys up for that segment where you guys were trashing me. That was really fun. I'm really glad I gave you guys that.
We were talking about maybe doing a alphabet soup. It didn't work out, but that's not. We haven't forgotten. It's still there.
I'll bring some. No, I'll bring some soup down to Moab.
Oh, nice.
I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I'll bring some soup.
Yeah,
down to Moab for sure.
We're meeting this weekend in Moab, Utah. So
yeah, so I guess I'll see you
episode soon.
Friday afternoon. It sounds like. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll see you. You guys will see this episode next Tuesday, and we'll be back next Tuesday to see each other. So, cool.
Sweet.
Well, solid episode. Peace out, y'all.
Yes.